I'm Dr. Melania Chibonda, and I am a development practitioner, but as well, I'm a feminist researcher. My research work is very focused, and I have a very clear political agenda that the research that I do does not undermine women's human dignity. It does not undermine the voices of women. And currently, I'm working with Femnet as the Gender and Climate Justice advisor and leading the work on climate change. And the work that we are doing is actually work that is focused on bringing out the women's stories, building movements across Africa for climate justice. And with this work that we are doing with the IDRC, we are hoping that with our intervention and our feminist politics as Femnet, that we ensure that the voices of women are heard in the research processes, that there is the inclusion of women in the researches that are being done, because this work is transformative work, which we are hoping, since it has a transformative agenda, it is going to question the gender norms, the beliefs around women's work, around care work, around women's health, particularly that we are in the midst of the pandemic, and there's so uncertainty in terms of when is this pandemic going to end. And sometimes we feel like it's ending, but then it starts all over again. And this has very devastating impacts on women. And when I'm talking about women, I'm talking about all facets of women's lives, right? Like women's economic well-being, women's emotional well-being, and there has been a lot of increases in every country across Africa on the increases in violence against women, that a lot of the call centers are actually bloated with calls for help from women who are facing physical violence in terms of the interpersonal violence. Feminist research can also even employ quantitative or qualitative research, but that research shouldn't bring harm to women, shouldn't portray women in negative ways, should not take away women's human dignity, the way that we are doing this research from the beginning to the end. Then that means that we are centering care, and we are actually doing research that is gender sensitive, if you like. When we look at a lot of the solutions, including our development models as people who are in low-income countries or the global south, I would say, a lot of our development agendas, where are they coming from? They are coming from the global north. And so this is time we redefine our own development. We accept development or define development in our own terms, because it is our development. And when we are saying that we are focusing on women in these countries, we are actually challenging who gets to define development and how does development look like. We have known development to be driven by very powerful international financial institutions and being very divorced from the people. But now we are saying this research is focusing on the global south, implying that this is what is supposed to inform our rights to access our health or sexual and reproductive health, and our right to development, which also includes the health aspect. Because what we have seen is development processes have been very violent on women's bodies. They have been very violent on women. Why? Because they are coming from outside. So we are looking at development processes that are endogenous, that are rooted in the realities of the people who are supposed to be beneficiaries of those development processes. So for Africa, we are looking at a development model that speaks to our reality as African people. Probably it is development that is very different from the market-oriented development that is considered to be global. Development can never be global when contexts are different. They can never be a one-size-fits-all for countries with different historical contexts, with different environments, with a different politics. So I think this project is something that has been outstanding for very long, that needed to be done for very long, because that is how we shift our story and how we shift power within the development discourse.